Content warning. This video does talk about sexual assault. Hello, my children. Welcome to the Green Lodge. Eden Log was released in 2007 but didn't make its way over to the States until 2009. It's easy to see Gilliam in the production design, more 12 Monkeys, and its inspiration La Jetée. It is an experimental French horror film that feels more like a survival horror video game than movie. Honestly, it was already well steeped in video game tropes when it first came out, but there are now games that mirror it so much more, like the Outlast games, where you are separate from the carnage just trying to survive, or more to the point, the Amnesia games in SOMA, where you are trying to put together the mystery of a world fallen apart. The only thing you really know starting out is that things have gone very, very wrong. But before we get to that, I wanted to thank my patrons, Chris Markinson, Stormy OK, Bryce Cleek, Catherine C., and Larry Kortowitz. Right now, I have that 2-hour Hellraiser series deep dive that I'm aching to do, but we need to hit 50 patrons first so I can spend the time required to make it as good as I know it will be. So please spread the word and let's get to that goal. My name is Justin D. Hurd. I'm all sewn up. Are you ready to go? Eden Log starts with our main dude having no idea how he got there, much less what is going on. We're immediately thrown into the darkness and disorientation of a barely functioning system, and we spend the entire movie trying to piece together what happened along with the lead. Not only do we not learn his name until the last 10 minutes, but he does some pretty abhorrent things through his journey to the surface. One of the things that has always stuck with me about this film is the decrepit technology that seems to be functioning more as an afterthought than there really being anyone behind the madness. The first 20 plus minutes feature a completely destroyed facility that somehow he has survived in. Every area he enters feels like a new level, with him slowly accruing new equipment as he ascends. I do love the way his recently found gains end up breaking as soon as he finishes a level, then he finds a new piece that allows him to continue. His interactions with other people are always tinged with a level of body horror and intrigue, as everyone but him knows what is going on but still speaks with self-importance and riddles. Up until the 24-minute mark, we're fairly certain that everything has gone tits up and that there's nothing left. But when he arrives on level -4, we get our first real glimpse of the Eden Log security, letting us know that this is an ongoing conflict between the monsters, the scientists, and the corporation. I have to be honest, it felt a bit like a cop-out that we have this absolutely trashed facility only to find that no, this is still functioning, but they're essentially self-destructing in real time. There are reasons for what we did see in the opening, but it's not until the very end that all the pieces come together for us. Our lead does a fairly good job of remaining unseen, until he gets captured by a weirdly acrobatic botanist who has found a way to sort of coexist with the monsters that fill the lower levels of Eden Log. The botanist has been experimenting on the creatures they've been able to capture, and they convince our lead to let them experiment on him as a way to unlock his past. It has some unintended side effects. So this is where there is a big stain on the film in my opinion. Most of the interactions with other humans feel like cutscenes in a video game. Honestly, you could skip most of them and you'd have that same level of disorientation that you would get when you just don't care enough to get into a video game story. It allows the character access to a new level, but it leaves us wondering what we might have missed. There is a recurring beat where the lead hears this powerful rumbling only for him to disassociate and, apparently, give in to the monster within. This is shown rather artfully when he forces himself onto the elevator, only to be taken over by the darkness and Hard R, the botanist. This is initially represented as a love scene, only for her screams to be heard in the background, and the delusion eventually falls apart, only for the lead to snap out of it and completely realize what he's done. This shot of the aftermath is everything. But now they're partners in trying to survive this madness. The assault we just witnessed is brought back for a bait and switch that we really didn't need other than to establish that he seems to have gotten control of the monster inside. Through the rest of their ascent, we learn that the more they harvested from the tree, the more it fought back against them until people started fusing with the roots. A full-out battle between security and the monsters break out, aided by our team's maneuvering through the facility. The Botanist begins to act out, realizing that our lead is an infecting agent, though we're not exactly sure why. It's never really explained, just kind of taken as fact by the end. Our lead is left alone and makes it to a security station that seems oddly forgotten despite it seemingly to be a normally used area. Through use of all the technology he's figured out how to use, he pieces together the story of what happened not only at Eden Log, but to himself. He was the lead security officer that got knocked out while investigating the lower plantation and ended up killing his second-in-command when his mutation took over. Basically, he's been avoiding everyone for no goddamn reason. We learn that Eden Log has been lying to the public. While the tree is a source of energy, they have been using the immigrant population to fuel that tree by letting it sap people caught in these cubes. A worker revolt started once they realized they were harvesting humans. The early images we saw were essentially instructions for what was going to happen to the workers, despite the fact that they thought they were going to be getting citizenship. All that's left is for Tolbiac to sacrifice what's most important to him.
For everybody.
And that's it. Had you heard of Eden Log before? What did you think of its experimental way of telling the story? Did the elevator scene lose you? Did this need to be a video game more than a movie? I'd love to hear your thoughts below. I wanted to thank my patrons, Chris Markinson, Stormy OK, Bryce Cleek, Catherine C., and Larry Quarterwitz. If you want to support the channel, you can do so for as little as $1 per video. You get access to the videos early, scripts, as well as commentaries for each video. You can find me on Twitter at JustinDHeard, we have merch available, and you can find information about my novel at justindheard.com. It's been an absolute pleasure entertaining you, but it's getting late. I'm all sewn up. Close the door behind you.